Yeah, baby. Woo! We are live. We are live.
Holy shit. Where
Can
are
I
we
just
at, guys?
before we start, can I just say I'm glad that you associated Scott McCall with me? Because Teen Wolf is one of my favorite shows.
We were literally talking about how happy I was I got Spider-Man.
Yeah, and I got Homelander. What is that trying to tell you? I got Homelander, dog. What is that trying to say?
It's because you had frosted tips in college.
Yeah, right. Nah, man. You know what though? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Geekly discussion. I'm your host Danny V, and here are the crew.
What's happening?
Hey.
Yeah. So, Lukas and Noah, tell us where you're at, bros.
We're at a hotel room. Wider in the aspect, we're at New Jersey HorrorCon. Yay! Today, this weekend we are officially launching our board game. So if you're in the New Jersey area and you want to check, honestly, if you just want to come say hi, we're gonna be at the New Jersey HorrorCon. So come say hi, come check out what we got going on because we're here with Red Duke Games, and we also got the stream team here. So Fuzz on the Lens is gonna be here as well. So if you want to come say hi, you want to come check out the board game, we are gonna have play testing. So come play the game. I know I told Lukas that you weren't gonna be here. He's like, I want to meet Marcus. No, for real. I was so sad. I was like, I finally get to meet Marcus in person. I fucking love Marcus.
Nah, I'll be out that way this summer though.
Speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, we got the QR code up right here on the left-hand side for Stream the Players Cut that they're promoting right now in New Jersey HorrorCon. So yeah, please go ahead and scan that. We'll post this up in and out frequently throughout the stream. Just go ahead and show some support because, Dave, is doing his thing. And also Marcus and everybody, they've been working very, very hard. Melissa as well, working very hard on this game. So, guys, please go ahead and show support, man, for indie creators, for all of us indie creators. So please do that as well. So we'll leave this QR code up for just a little bit while we get started. So
Dave's actually downstairs working the convention right now. Yeah, we're freeloading right now. We're hanging out with you guys to get you here. I said that I wanted to be on this Geekly. Noah said that there was a big possibility that we weren't going to be able to, and I was very upset because I really wanted to be on Geekly last week. Plans changed, and I had an internet event. We had a whole debacle. It was bad. For me, it was bad.
it's all
we
good.
gotta talk about the boys. Yeah, no, dude, I missed out on the boys. I missed out on a talk about possibly an Invincible. I heard was probably on the table. I missed out on a lot.
No, you're good. You're good. We'll rendezvous back to this because today's subject. By the way, King Matthew III, what's going on? Thank you for always being a supporter. We appreciate you. Yeah. So today's topic, man, is video game adaptations and comic adaptations into movies, man. And obviously you guys saw what it's about. The main thing is going to be He-Man. So I had a couple of things on He-Man. It looks good. The trailer's awesome and whatnot. It looks like they're sticking to somewhat of the source material. However, though, is it set up for failure? Let
me jump in on this. I think I won't say it's necessarily set up for failure. I think a lot of these movies that's coming over the summer, especially, I'll say Masters of the Universe and Supergirl specifically, the choice and the window that they chose to release their films is bad because you're going up against Toy Story 5 coming up. Yep. Going against Minions vs. Monsters or whatever it's called.
Yep.
Those two alone are going to blow out every movie this summer.
I can't wait.
Brand New Day. Yeah, and Brand New Day is coming. So those three are the heavy hitters of the summer. Oh, and then you got to include Odyssey. Odyssey is gonna make a killing regardless of what people are saying.
I actually am really excited to see the Odyssey. So yeah, I can definitely see that going up.
There's like 5 movies just coming out in the time frame of June alone, because Spider-Man comes out in July.
Yes.
There's like other than Toy Story that's coming out in June and Supergirl
I have
the end
list.
of June.
You got a Scary Movie next week.
I got the list right here, guys.
Yeah, Scary Movie, and you also have Disclosure Day. I think.
Oh yeah, Disclosure Day. Yep,
Here's the list. Here's the list that happened in June. So in June, right? So far, we already got Mando and Grogu, which was basura. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Jesus, Lord.
I haven't seen it yet.
I finally saw it. Oh, I
Might
finally
see
saw
it.
it, and do not. You don't need to. Just so here's the deal. Masters in the Universe originally always had this June 5th release date. Scary Movie did not. Scary Movie, Marlon Wayans announced on Instagram that they're gonna release it earlier, right? And that they were way ahead of schedule and all this stuff, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But they chose the same day as Masters of the Universe to come out, June 5th. Which I think is going to really hurt Masters of the Universe. Not only that, Disclosure Day is going to be June 12th. And then you got Toy Story, which is June 19th. And then you have Supergirl, which is June 26th. Now, I agree with Marcus, man. I agree. It's a terrible time, you know what I mean, to come out against some heavy hitters. However,
you're putting Toy Story 5 out.
Yeah. I mean, however, we saw how amazing Obsession just did.
Yeah.
Indie film.
Yep.
We saw how when you stick to source material, big thing for Sonic the Hedgehog, right?
Yep.
When you stick to source material, fans will go see it. Yeah. I think for people our age, Marcus, right? Our age group, I think we're all going to watch it regardless of Scary Movie or not. We're going to watch it with it, right? And if it is as good as it looks, despite Jared Leto's Skeletor voice, right? As Noah always says.
With that, I absolutely cannot. That pisses me off so much. I don't care if he's trying to sound like the one from the 80s movie. I fucking hate that movie. We need to remember. Like,
that's
I'll get you,
yeah.
That's
like,
remember. The Dolph Lundgren.
What is that?
The Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe movie was good for him, man. That's blasphemous to say that it's a bad movie.
Well,
dude, you can see the meth nostrils. I don't even want to hear it, man.
The only thing
that's a childhood bias.
The only thing that I can say towards the whole like sticking to the source material thing is like sometimes a really cool original ideas do happen. Like I've been seeing a lot about Nick Cage's Amazon series of the Spider Noir. Yeah. I've seen it's getting really, really decent reviews, and it looks like it does not follow the comics like almost at all.
So Ian is big on that. To piggyback off you, Lucas, Ian's really big on that. But Ian did make me aware, and hopefully he joins us tonight. But Ian made me very aware of why they're pivoting certain things. Well, obviously, it's due to licensing. Like, if you want to get the brass tacks, it's due to licensing and etc. However, how they're doing it is working around the licensing for Spider-Man Noir, and they're giving a good reason why. Yeah. And so, not to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it, because I haven't seen it either, but I have an inkling of how they're doing it, right? Yeah. But original ideas. I mean, even the boys originally when they originally came out, it was not like the comic book, and it was way better than the comic book until we got to season 3. Then it was all downhill from here, right? But originally, it was not. It's an original piece, and at first it was better than the actual source material. So I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad that if He-Man was an original away from the source material while sticking to the source elements. I wouldn't be mad at that.
That's what it kind of looks like it is from the trailers from that I've seen. Like it looks like they're updating the origin, they're updating the costume, which I actually really, really like the new costume. I think it looks really genuinely cool, surprisingly, and which is it.
Practical.
I'm not going to say that it's hard to make He-Man look cool, because at the end of the day, sure, like a barbarian sort of dressed dude can look kind of cool. But like, it's a little hard to make the 80s sort of almost gimp suit look cool. Mm-hmm. But now, like it's really decent. Like I like the skirt. I like the battle skirt. It's fucking sick. I think it's really neat.
I think that's a kilt.
It's a skilt. It's a skilt.
It's not a dress, it's a kilt.
If I'm not mistaken, they're pulling a lot from the comics.
Yeah, which is super cool. Because the He-Man comics are dope as hell, by the way. If anybody hasn't read them, they're awesome.
It's funny because so Dave and I were talking about this in the car about these movies coming out, anyways. And we're kind of all on the same train where we think that the top 2 movies in June are going to be Toy Story and Scary Movie. Like I honestly think that Toy Story, like there's no doubt, even if the movie is trash, which I'm not so certain that it's not going to be, it's a family movie. And it's an animated movie, and it's Toy Story. It's going to sell, even if it does bad. Everything else is kind of just catching up to that. And I fear that He-Man is going to get. Sorry, not to cut you off. I feel that He-Man is going to get the Transformers 1 treatment, because Transformers 1 is awesome. Honestly, one of the best Transformers movies ever fucking made.
It possibly is out of the alignment. Yeah.
And the worst part about it is there's like almost no chance that movie's going to get a sequel. Because it just it really could, but it's like it's so slim to none because nobody was talking about it when it came out, other than the people who actually saw it and was like, "Holy shit, this is awesome!" And then even that, not many people went to see it. But that's the thing with He-Man is that unfortunately, trying to revive something that has only really kind of recently gotten more in popularity with the animated show that came out on Netflix.
She-Ra?
No, well, She-Ra, Masters of the Universe on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And like it's a hard sell. It's a niche because these kids aren't really watching that anymore. Now these there's just a lot of unfortunately media has just matured so much that kids are watching like The Boys and being like really intrigued with new like philosophical ideas, which is crazy. It's like they're like the consciousness is expanding finally. But no,
I would argue though. Honestly, I would argue that just like how Obsession, when no one wanted to watch it, Cherry was cool, whatever, the word of mouth is very, very powerful for
it's going to get a cult following. It's going to get a cult following.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's going to do well in the box office because of the window.
Well, like I said, you're probably right, Marcus, because of all these movies. However, if the word of mouth is that this is the bomb.com, especially for all us 80s folks, right, and younger, I really do think that it has potential to at least break even or even to make a profit, right?
Mm-hmm. I think it'll do on the home release more so in the box office.
I definitely think
I'm with you.
I could see it doing really good on streaming.
I think it will break even though. I think it will break even in theaters.
That's what I was saying. I think it'll break even in the box office, but then home release is going to skyrocket.
Yeah. But how much did it take to make?
Hold on.
Oh, that's a good question. I'll look it up right now.
I think your biggest problem with this movie is honestly a lot of people turned off by the fact that Jared Leto are in this movie because every time you see him in a franchise, a legacy franchise movie, he kind of butchers it, and that's now kind of the expectation with it. But I'll be honest, you guys say he's a good actor. I don't
My fears were quelled the second he said. My fears were quelled the second he said that he didn't like this movie. I think it's going to be great.
What he says? Because
that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be great. I don't.
He loved
every other movie that
he Disney to make Tron. That was his idea. He wanted to revive Tron. That was his baby.
Yeah. Every other movie that he's been in, he's like glazed to all glory. But this movie, he's like specifically like, I don't like this role for some reason. And it's just like, maybe because it's good. Like.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of Jared Leto. I think, honestly, though, unfortunately, out of all 5 of these movies, Supergirl's going to do the worst because it's already so much shit.
Dude. Yeah,
I personally think it's going to be better. I think it's going to be better than Superman, and I think it's going to do worse.
I think Supergirl is going to be good in the same sense Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was good, because it was a really good sequel.
I have a feeling it's going to go as the way of Madam Web.
Yes, thank you. I agree with you, Melissa.
It's going to do well at all.
Not that it won't do well at all, but I have a feeling that a lot of it is a lot of people are just not going to be into it, or I don't know. Like I read some reviews and just already people are kind of shitting on it. So it's just like
Here's my thing.
They're sitting out before it's even come out, and the story looks more interesting. And also, we're getting Lobo, and I think other than the eyes, like I do have problems with the eyes. Don't get me wrong.
I clearly
Everybody's got a
colored the
problem with
eyes of
Lobo.
No, I don't have a problem
colored-
with Lobo. They didn't make his eyes red.
No, I know.
I colored his eyes
Yeah, I
as
saw
big
that.
as they're supposed to be, right? And red, and it looks a million times better.
Well,
It's
dude, you can even go to
insane.
You could go to the Krypton series that used to be on Sci-Fi, and he looked.
We were
Yeah, that was a good series.
He looks like
we were
he really
begging
looks
for
like
years
Jason
for this to
Momoa.
happen. It's happening. God forbid somebody complains about it.
Listen, he
No,
looks like
listen,
Jason Momoa.
it's honestly still kind of. It's the same thing with Gambit and Deadpool and Wolverine. They brought Gambit in, and his eyes weren't like they were the normal eyes.
Yeah, I'm not a
But that's
big
what I'm
fan of
saying.
Gambit having regular white
It's the
eyes.
same.
Yeah, I know.
You do
Well, here's
all this work into the costume, and then you're like, yeah, the eyes, like fuck them.
Yeah.
Contact, digitally edit them. It's not like, bro, come on. It is part of the
You
character.
know what?
Absolutely.
And a really funny point to that too is that they spent so much money animating Deadpool's eyes in those movies.
Yep. And then they didn't do any, and then as soon as Disney's like, well, we got Gambit, we got money, so we're not gonna fuck with the eyes at all.
Dude. Yeah,
No,
it's
they
insane. I mean,
like
his
it,
eyes lit up.
but they didn't,
His eyes lit up when he did
they
his
weren't
powers,
red.
but I'm with
Yeah.
you. I'm with you on it. I rather the
His
original
entire eye
cartoon
was
or
black.
comic book eyes.
His
right?
eye was black. He had
I
red
know.
pupils.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'd rather have that. But here's the deal, guys. Let's roll it back.
Yeah,
So, to answer,
back to Masters
answer,
of the Universe.
to answer Melissa's question, right now it's at roughly 170 to 200 million dollars budget wise for He-Man, which is I mean it's a lot of CG. You can see it, right? So it's a lot of CG.
Yeah.
So
That's a
I
big
can
one.
see that.
That's a big
Yeah,
one.
it's a big one. Yeah, it's a big one, man. So it's saying that it needs to roughly make 400 to 500 million worldwide to break even. Yeah,
It'll
so
do
which
that.
is crazy.
I think
Which I think it will.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
but
there's
It's an
also
IMAX, right?
This has a lot of like draw to kids as well. It looks like it's going to be one of those PG-13 kids movies.
yeah,
But
agree.
at the same time, it's probably gonna have some messaging.
It's coming out around Father's Day, is it not? When exactly is Father's? I don't know the specific date of
the
Father's Day.
weekend of the 22nd.
Thursday.
Yeah, so
Okay,
no,
so
it's
coming out
coming
the
the
month
first
of
week.
Father's Day.
Yeah, the first week. Now here's the deal, though. Also, I'm gonna jump into, since we are already talking about Supergirl. There's already a petition to get James Gunn out. Superman, as much as people claim they loved it, like Lucas, excuse me, they it didn't do well. They didn't hit their numbers they were looking at, and on top of that, there's already a rumor that they're going to revamp DC as a whole, and they're kicking out James Gunn. Now that's a rumor.
I don't think DC can survive another revamp. I really don't think DC movies can survive another revamp.
You know what? All I know is what
they would need an incredulously long break so that people can refresh themselves, because we're right off the back of the Snyderverse, and now we're going to be right off the back of the DCU, and it's going to be one of those things where it's like people are going to be like, oh, now we're in the new universe. Well, now I missed the old one, like they did with fucking the Snyderverse.
The Snyderverse,
and we've barely gotten any of the DCU. So I don't know. I like the DCU so far. I'm really into it, but I know that it's not doing well. But I also I like the themes, I like the messages, I like the stories. It's just
the new rumor though. You heard the new rumor.
Yeah, the new rumor that what's his name is going to Soldier Boy actor, I forgot his name, that he's supposed to be the new Batman.
No, not
I hope so. I hope so.
Not that one.
Which one?
Because Paramount owns Warner Brothers now. There's they're pushing to have the Snyderverse under Paramount spin.
Yes, that's awesome. And the reason why, guys, to be honest with you, Zack Snyder proved in his Snyder cut of Justice League how he wanted to do it was a million times better than what we got for regular Justice League, right? And it was introducing the whole injustice route, the whole nine.
Compared to the awful cut of that movie, I suppose, it is definitely better in quality.
You saw all the people's powers. Everyone had a part in it for them to win. They actually got Flash right, even though I despised Ezra Miller. They got the Flash right with his powers, right? It's the first time that we actually see these
that
characters.
Run, no?
Yeah, that run was wild, bro. Fucking like it's like how they made fun of Sydney in Scary Movie, how she runs.
That's where like conversations like these for me get to like a deeper level, because while like sure the Snyderverse is sometimes better written within the stories that they're trying to tell, I can't agree with the characterizations of these characters.
No, of course.
They are so far removed from what these characters are that people are starting to think that these are who these people are. That's why we see so many evil Supermans. That's why we see so many, you know, this, that. Like Injustice ruined Superman for so many people for no reason too. Well, but that's the thing. We got Injustice, and then we saw evil Superman after evil Superman after evil Superman pop up, or we just heard about it more and more after that game.
Well, to be fair, Lucas, because you probably haven't read the old Superman comics.
Because I was gonna say
Superman's been evil a couple of times due to kryptonite.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know about the kryptonite stuff. That's like one issue.
There's also kryptonite that makes him like
red kryptonite.
Horny.
No, flamboyant. Yes, the pink kryptonite.
That makes him gay, Daniel.
There is. I think there is actually. But I mean, like the kryptonite thing is not like Superman, like I see what you're saying, because like it's Elseworld stories, but like that's just evil. It's not. We're getting stabbed by a piece of kryptonite that's altering his.
Whenever it comes to Superman, I think again, Danny, I know you don't like this movie, but I really think James Gunn's version of Superman embodied what that character really is.
I think I sit right in the middle.
I'll say it.
Opinion
if anybody embodied it, it's Tyler Hoechlin and Superman and Lois.
I think so. I love that. Yep, I love it.
You scared me so bad, dude. Oh my god.
What did
he so Christopher Reeves did
Oh, you thought he meant Dean Cain?
No, Jesus.
No, not that Superman. No. The CW show.
Christopher Reeves did Superman right by literally making Clark Kent a fucking dork. And that's how he's supposed to be. He was so godlike cringe, but then when he was Superman, he was the man. You even hear
in Christopher Reeves interviews how he talks about Superman and Clark, that Clark isn't you know, a goof just because he's meant to be like a mask. He's a goof because that's who Superman really is. Superman is a goof.
No, it's how he pictured humans.
It's how he viewed us.
He viewed humans.
I can't agree with that.
Listen, that's why in Kill Bill, when they had that speech, and when the Kill Bill had that speech, it's true though. It's how he saw humans.
And but that's the perspective of the villain, though. That you're not supposed to agree with his perspective, and his perspective isn't right. So the whole point of like Batman and Superman and their dualities is that Batman is Batman, but he's human, whereas Superman is Clark Kent, Kal-El. He chooses to be human. He is a bulletproof, but he chooses to be human, not because, and he's not like,
and it's all because of his upbringing. That's why Martha and John Kent are so important to his story, because they're the humans that basically raise him to be a human.
He's bulletproof. He's bulletproof because of the sun, but no, he is 100% Clark Kent by choice. He's a human.
But there's three personas to him though.
Yep.
So you got Superman. You got Clark when he's around people and he's goofy and clumsy.
And you got Kal-El,
and then you got Clark.
No, you have regular Clark. Yes.
When he's regular Clark, that's him. That's the true.
That's
Clark.
the true him.
That's the true Kal-El.
But when he's around people,
when he's around people and being clumsy and stuff, that's how he views humans as flawed.
Well, so
but not only that, I would
rather than that,
hold on. I would add to this. I would add to this to Marcus's point. No, I would add to this. Is that Clark goes the extra mile to be clumsy and whatnot to make sure that nobody knows he's Superman.
Yes.
Right. And the deal is that Superman, and this is why I can't vibe with James Gunn's Superman, is that Superman is the beacon of hope, and he knows that he's basically a god to all these people, but to keep them safe and to keep them hopeful, this is why he doesn't lose his shit. This is why he's not like, oh my god, I'm scared too, Lex and all this other bullshit that he was saying. He doesn't do that because that persona is what gives other people hope. This is why even the death of Superman in the comics, right, was devastating to other superheroes because he was the hero to the superheroes, if that makes sense. And even when Batman said, he goes, deep down, Clark is a good guy. I'm not. Right?
Yep,
and even for Batman, Superman was the epitome of what a hero should be. And so this is
but
why
that
I
has nothing to do
can't
with
vibe with
power.
James
That's
Gunn's
who he
thing.
is as a person.
So I offer a counterpoint to that. Instead of thinking of him as this godlike figure, because he knows that he has this like nigh godlike power if he were to really try and do what gods do. He could probably do it, and more of the time he does if he wants to. But the thing is, at his core, Superman he recognizes he has this power, but it's like Spider-Man, where he's still the human in underneath. He's still the person. He's still the man.
There's actually
underneath.
a storyline where Superman. It's like a city of people who believe in him to be a god, and he'll always be there to save them. And that whole
City of Candor.
Something? I think so.
No, that's his home.
There was like they were gonna have a Superman day, and they were all gonna like jump out of windows, and like whoever gets saved is the chosen one. Where he was truly like chosen, like thought of it as a god, and the whole point of that arc was for him to show people that he's not a god, because he doesn't believe that he's a god. He's just helping people because that's who he was raised to be by Lois or not by Lois. Sorry, fuck.
Martha.
Martha, and I'm blanking on the name.
Jonathan.
Yeah. Like he is human. Like he's the epitome of a good human being. Like he wasn't raised by aliens. He wasn't raised by gods. He was raised by blue collared working individuals. That is who he is at his core. I believe that obviously he knows he has the powers and he needs to use them responsibly. I would say he's more of like a Spider-Man. Yeah. Than like Spider-Man is more like Superman than like Batman, other than like the internal depression. But like, he chooses to be. I don't think that he views humans as an oath. I think that it's more of a disguise. Like
I'm much more subscribed to the idea that it's a part of the trying to hide the fact that he's not Superman, especially at a place that he works where they're constantly having pictures of him.
Yeah.
I think that's probably more like it, because even when he's like out in public with Lois and whatnot, he's acting normal. He's acting like a normal dude. Like he still has that, but I think that's just more of the portrayal. And like to even more to that Spider-Man connection, I think a big part of why they did it in the recently in the comics, if anybody has heard a little bit of comic news, if you haven't, Marvel and DC did a huge major big line of crossovers. I think it's still going on
soon too.
But
they did one a long time ago. I have the comic. They did Teen Titans and the X-Men. I have that comic.
Really cool. But yeah, they did Superman and fucking Spider-Man. They had them in I think it was like almost like 3-issue story, or it was a 1-issue story that had multiple endings or something like that. But at the end of the day, it was like they bonded over that human factor. They bonded over that they had this great big power and this even greater responsibility to be just a good person.
Yeah, because anyone in any universe can have power, right? Like we've seen John Constantine. He's fought gods and whatnot.
Homelander is one of the most recent.
Again, anyone can have power, but the knowledge of a power's true strength, and then the ability to wield it responsibly, that comes from who you are on the inside, not like.
I really hope nobody brings up
because I'm Superman
right now in the comments.
No.
If anybody's read it, don't bring it up because I don't want to talk about it.
That's funny. But here's the deal. I would add to this so we could jump onto Supergirl and then we'll move on to the other adaptations.
Yeah.
But the only problem, I would say the one that really truly embodies Superman as well is Henry Cavill. I mean, he looked the part. He did it. Yeah. He did a great job.
Most realistic.
Yeah, the most realistic. However, the only thing that I had a problem with was the fact of how Jonathan, aka Pa Kent, ended up dying, and he told him not to basically reveal himself. But it's a pivotal. Listen, it's a pivotal moment in the comics because of this, guys. If you want to see the most human side of Superman ever, read the comic of when Pa died. And the reason why is because Pa died of a heart attack. So as powerful as Superman was, no matter what, he could not save his dad. Right? It was a natural occurrence, right? And that's what this is my whole shtick for today's episode is that video game adaptations, comic book adaptations, right, into movies, sometimes they don't get it right. And as good as it may seem or whatever, sometimes they don't get it right. I mean, if Henry Cavill's Superman, if Pa died from a heart attack, it'd be more gut-wrenching to all of us after seeing all the incredible shit he's done, rather than don't reveal yourself to everybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, to jump onto Melissa's point was Supergirl. The thing that made me lose my shit in the last Superman movie was the fact that you have this chick come in drunk, stupid, and give me my dog, and like hating on her cousin. That was never a thing in the fucking comics, and that was never a thing in the animated series or even the animated movies.
Well, it was in the comics. So
isn't there a Woman of Tomorrow story?
Yeah, but that's newer. I'm talking about the OG ones when we grew to love Supergirl.
That was because the OG ones, they always adapted that, because Kara always came first. Well, no, let me take it. Sometimes Kara came first, sometimes she came later, but she was older than Clark anyway. And
she's. I like the rendition where she leaves older because it gives us an introspect into Krypton.
Of course. But I think
she got stuck on in a gravitational pull.
Yeah. Yes.
The best adaptation for me of Kara and Soup's dynamic was in Smallville. That was the best adaptation of their dynamic.
Dude.
Well, they canceled that show for stupid reasons, so whatever.
Yes. But, and this is my problem, though. This is why I think Supergirl is going to fail. Supergirl is going to fail because they already made her into some people that are like, oh, that's supposed to be Supergirl, like the way she's acting and whatnot. And then even with the trailer of when Krypto takes a piss on the newspaper and it's on Superman's face, and she's like, good boy, stuff. It's just, it's a terrible, even if that's not in the movie, it's a terrible thing to put in the trailer. Then like I said, you have Lobo, and Jason Momoa, I believe, was born to play Lobo, but when you make him look like shit, you know what I mean? It just takes away from a lot of what the fans want. You know what I mean? Dude, Craven was Basudo too. But
I don't even want to talk about Aaron Taylor Johnson as Craven because that makes no fucking sense. You literally had
you're talking about it.
Yeah. But anyway, that's my point. That's my point. I don't think Supergirl is gonna do as well as they say. I do think that's going to be probably one of the nails in the coffin, like Marcus says, since Paramount owns WB now. This is going to be one of the nails in the coffin to get James Gunn out, dude. And don't get me wrong, I love James Gunn, what he does with, and this is my problem as well. James Gunn is really good at taking non-popular characters and making them popular because he has the group dynamic, which is cool. But we saw the same formula not only in Guardians, but then we saw it in Creature Commandos and also Suicide Squad. You know what I mean? It's just the same. Yeah, it's just the same
Superman,
thing.
Yeah,
Superman.
That's my biggest problem. That's my biggest problem.
It's going to happen, and it's going to happen in Supergirl. So you have this group dynamic that has nothing to do with your main character, and it's all about the other characters or the group dynamic. And it's just like, dude, that's not what the fans want.
The movie was just a dang movie, unfortunately.
It is. It's all the same movie. If you watch all the Guardians, you watch Superman, you watch Suicide Squad, you watch Creature Commandos, all of them are the same, right? I like Creature Commandos because of the twist. Dr. Phosphorus is my favorite character. Loved him. Dr. Phosphorus, I have a pop of him. Fucking incredible. But I just think this thing is not going to do well for Supergirl. But this is my problem with video game adaptations and also comic book adaptations right now, what we're seeing. Because also, Star Wars is not doing well. Mando and Grogu was absolutely trash. It literally was a filler episode of The Mandalorian, like 3 filler episodes in one. No story progression whatsoever. And then, but Star Wars, Disney is having the same problem that DC is having right now. Your live adaptations are sucking, but your freaking animated movies are off the chain, dude. It's incredible. You know,
animated
so I think
movies,
DC
the animated
as a whole,
series that are popping off. Maul is fucking fantastic. Oh my
That's my
god!
point.
I think we've already talked a little bit about Maul even on Nerdbox because it's so good. Star Wars is honestly truly at its peak when it's animated. Honestly, like recent times.
Well, especially when you have Sam Witwer as a creative head.
Absolutely, and that's my point too. Is that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau did this, and at one point they were peak. Even though, to be fair, this was the last movie that Kathleen Kennedy produced, so obviously it was going to be shit. But with that being said, is that the animated stuff is so good that DC, they're not, even with James Gunn, they're not going to give it a chance. That's why, even though I do kind of agree with you, Lucas, this is why I think even if they revamped it, it wouldn't fucking matter, is because they have a problem right now. And the huge problem is your animation is way better at storytelling and all this stuff than your actual movies. It really is. Like, because Marvel, they have some good animated movies. A lot of them are not good, but it's just that DC has that problem. Disney has that problem
Shout out
right now.
every single Lego Marvel movie, by the way. You're the worst.
So as a fan of the graphic novel, though, I'm just off the trailer alone. Like you said, Momoa was born to be Lobo, but James Gunn writing Lobo is not meant to be a funny character.
Thank you.
He's sarcastic as hell, and you will laugh, but he's not meant to be a funny character. And I feel like James Gunn is
playing
that to happen.
The same character he plays in pretty much everything except for like smaller projects, which is the bro chud.
Yeah, he's supposed to be sarcastic, but he is supposed to be imposing as all hell because he stands toe to toe like Superman.
Lobo's scary. Like Lobo,
he's supposed to be scary.
He's scary, bro.
He's a joke character. He's not Deadpool. I know Deadpool killed the Marvel Universe, but he's not, like, it's not the same.
Even the villain, Krim, they making him a joke. Like, if you read the graphic novel, Krim is not a funny character, and they're making him a jokester in this movie. So I'm like,
absolutely,
I don't have high hopes.
See, and this is why if they were gonna do Lobo in any way that wasn't going to be, you know, exactly like the original Lobo comics, they should have just done New 52 Lobo, because then they can have him be a serious jokester, because that was his character. And he was serious sometimes, and then he was like...
But also the New 52 line didn't do that well selling. It didn't do that well.
Well, everything except for Batman didn't do well. Batman was doing fantastic.
Here's your biggest problem right now. You're going into this movie knowing that it's going to be a potential like half comedy film.
Yeah.
When the story that they're going based off of is the like chunk of Krypton that broke off and died for 2 years.
If it doesn't have
it's a heartbreaking storyline. A chunk of Krypton broke off of Krypton and did die immediately, but they get like sucked in by like a black hole, and over the span of 2 years they slowly die off. It's not supposed to be a fun movie. It's supposed to be a terrible story, like a heartbreaking storyline.
Yep.
I'm not a big DC guy, but like I don't know.
I don't know. I can see this movie really going either way. It could either be surprisingly good, or it could be not that good.
Well, the ranking is
I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be super awful. I think there's probably gonna be some major change-ups, because James Gunn really likes his major change-ups, which is one of my biggest issues with Superman. The whole making.
I'm hoping we get him out of the chair.
Making Kryptonians evil doesn't really turn me on.
Oh my god!
I know it's happened before, but I don't like it. I don't like it because now Kara's character has to be sort of evil.
I mean, she's just being a capital C. You know, we can't say it on the channel, but you know what I mean. But anyway, Melissa, what are your
Tuesday?
thoughts? Yeah, next Tuesday. So Melissa, what are your thoughts on Supergirl?
Yeah,
from what you saw.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, most I've seen of her was her being this drunk teenager picking up the dog in the last movie. I liked the cartoons when they had her, but like I don't remember her very much because I was more into Batman. But if this is like the usual where DC movies suck and Marvel movies are better, and DC where it makes better television, they should have made a TV show out of it.
Yes, I totally agree.
They could have got more out of it, and James Gunn likes doing longer versions.
I fear they think these characters are too big for TV series.
I don't think so. I think if you do it right,
you get longer time. You can develop more. You have more story.
Supergirl had a show.
But if you give it movie-sized budget,
Stargirl had a show, you know, and it did well. I mean, the Flash TV series did very, very well.
So
that's what I'm saying. All the DC series did great. Like, I liked Arrow. I love DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Like, when their movies came out, their movies sucked, except for Batman. And even some of the Batmans kind of like were like, all right.
I'm still so upset we never got Ben Affleck's Batman movie. I really wanted to see that.
Yes, but and again, this is mine and Marcus's argument too for these adaptations is that when you get producers that don't know shit and they come in and they ruin a lot of stuff, this is what happens. Ben Affleck had a script. Ben Affleck, I feel like Ben Affleck's Batman, besides the whole brutality part, right?
Which was Snyder's fault. Snyder's fault entirely.
Touche. You're all right. But I feel like Batman, his Batman fighting style wise, strength wise,
it was gorgeous.
Gadget wise was beautiful. It was literally.
I've never seen. Batman I don't care what people say about the Bat logo being like big and fat. I know that it's a Dark Knight Returns reference, and I love it because it looks so sick with just the gray and black.
Yes.
Well, it's also, there's also Absolute Batman.
The only thing that would have made it better, and I will not even shit you, is some black trunks.
Sure, you know what I mean. And here's the deal too: is that you know I have to admit, you know, what Melissa. I mean, think about it. The shows have been doing fantastic, and it's just even the Batman with I do not like Rob Pattinson as Batman. I really don't. But I don't. But here's the deal. The problem with the Batman for me, and I fell asleep during the movie, was that it was so drawn out. Like he's walking slow everywhere, which is stupid.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, it was so drawn out though. But I'm telling you this, guys, if you really think about it, watch that movie again, right? Take out every other character. I'm talking about Penguin, Selena Kyle.
Oh, he falls flat.
Yeah, no. If you take everybody out and just have the Riddler's part in it, it's a better movie. It's a better movie between Batman and the Riddler.
Yeah, I can agree with that just because I do like more intimate detective stories with Batman, especially when he's going against like a maniacal version of the Riddler. Yes. I think one of my favorite versions of Riddler is when he turned out to be Hush. Spoiler alert, the story's been out for years.
This is honestly probably one of the best versions of Riddler we've ever seen.
Yes.
I think.
Listen, as cheesy as Jim Carrey was as the Riddler, and I love it, I have to agree that this Riddler was it was very maniacal, like you're saying, Noah. I have to agree.
It's a nice revamp. It's a great revamp.
A possibly neurodivergent serial killer that has a real gripe with the government. That's got some shit to it. That's kind of Unabombery.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy though is that a side character, the Penguin, the Penguin show did better than the fucking movie.
Which is nuts.
Wild.
So Penguin was just great. You had no idea that was Colin Farrell.
He was like it's insane that's Colin Farrell, but like I'm glad you brought that up because like if you do Marvel and these Spider-Man, Batman, Superman on HBO Max budgets, you can absolutely make some phenomenal stuff.
And the only thing is like I feel like they just a lot of these movies can be like parts of a series. A lot of these movies, like especially if you want to see like this whole like dynamic duo movie that they were talking about where it's like Robin and where it's
no, we don't want that.
Nightwing. It was Nightwing and Red Hood, and it was going to be cool. And I honestly was really excited for it because it was some kind of animated thing.
It's the animated one.
It's still coming out.
Nightwing and Red Hood. Yeah, no, it wasn't the Batman and Robin. Don't introduce Damian Wayne as the first Robin.
Ever. My God.
As your first Robin in the universe, the worst choice you could have possibly ever made.
Well, I like the animated storyline because there already were other Robins. They just skipped past it.
Yeah, absolutely. But let me ask you this, though, guys. This is the argument. The argument is basing it on source material does better than most original ideas because obviously we've heard it before from Disney. We've heard it before from a lot of people that these people are not fans. They're just coming up with their own fan fiction type of deal. Do you think that a lot of these?
It's LARP.
I know, but do you think that like because the subject of He-Man and the next subject that we're going to go on, do you think source material is better to follow that people love than coming up with original ideas right now in this stage?
Well, that depends, right? Because are we going based off of production companies pushing their stories? Or are we talking about people who actually want to come in and are fans of the source material and want to revamp it? Like, because that's a very different. I have a very different answer for either one. Like, if it's production companies pushing their own stupid like agenda to put a quick buck, then no, I absolutely think that that's awful. But if it's if it's people from like any one of us from Nerdbox, if we were like, hey, we want to do like we have an Elseworlds DC storyline that we're working on, it has a lot of things that are not the same, but a lot of things that are the same. If you have someone like a fan going in and getting the ability to make, like, again, to bring up Markiplier with Iron Lung, yeah, he had the budget for it obviously, but like he was a fan of the game. He worked with the original creator to put some more storyline in there. It was a little long. But other than that, it was a really good film. Markiplier did great as editor, director, all that. So it really just depends on who's behind the seat of the story. Like for the most part, I would say, yeah, just stick to the pages. But if somebody can come in and is actually invested in the lore and expanding it, and also maybe fixing some mistakes, like if we're going to talk about like we want to talk about Spider-Man, we want to talk about the whole Mephisto deal where like they break up her marriage, that's fucking stupid. But
which they adapted. They adapted in No Way Home.
Yeah, exactly, and they made it better. See,
which is a part of a different storyline, technically. But
I will say that the way that they did it in No Way Home was better because, and I think it's because maybe they had the right person to be able to make that decision. It really just depends on the person, and definitely not the production companies.
I love that.
They fuck it up.
Yeah, I love that. Melissa, your turn. What do you
got?
Sam Witwer.
Well, for me, like, as long as the people that are making the movie have like a loyal following to it, like know the background, know what they're talking about, have a great way to either segue it into a different direction or follow it, they're going to do well. If it's someone completely coming out of it for a money grab, that's just using the name as a title to get people into theaters to sell something that is shit, like it's just not going to go well. Like we've seen that with movies. We've seen that with the last Scream that we talked about, right?
Yes.
We had so many better theories than what we were given, and it just went downhill. And nowadays there's so much fan fiction out there for different stories, from like Star Wars to comics to everything else, that like you could find a decent story and then work off of that people have loved.
Yeah.
And it could be like a whole different background.
And
absolutely.
Even unfortunately to that bit, like there's also just such a fine line between what's a good like original idea and what's fan fiction. Because like fan fiction can really, really just mess with the characters in a way that was like never intended, and just that doesn't work for the characters. A lot of the time, fan fiction goes off the rails. But a lot of the time, it's literally like 50-50, because sometimes you get amazing storylines. Like I think there's an original Spider-Man comic book out on like Webtoon or something. And it's really, really good. And it's really well written. It goes over like pretty much the entire early years of Spider-Man. And it's really, really nice. It's like, it's pretty realistic and gritty and whatnot, but it's like, it still feels like Spider-Man, and it feels like a story, like stories that Spider-Man would go through, but they're original. They just take ideas from like the comics that have already been there.
That is true.
Like, yeah, and to a certain extent, that's adapting the comics. Like it all loops back around, because if you really want to stay true to a character, the only way to do that is going to see the better runs of that character, hopefully, because there's a lot of really unfortunately poor comic book runs out there.
It's true.
But
Marcus.
Man, as far as taking original ideas or sticking to the source material, shit. I'll say one movie that I think did it well while still adding its own flair to it. Kick-Ass did a great job. The
Movie.
The first Kick-Ass, even though they changed things, but it still stuck to the source material as much as possible while still, you know what I mean? So I feel like when it comes to the big IPs of Marvel and DC, I wish they would take that same approach. But I feel like these companies are like these studio execs, like you said earlier, Danny, the producers and the execs, man, they don't get it, and they're looking at the bottom line first. So they feel like whatever will pander to the politics at the time, whatever will pander to the trends at the time in social media and parents and kids and stuff, that's who they tailor to. Rather
fanisms as well.
Yeah,
it's awful.
That too. Yeah.
Like with Mandalorian and Grogu, the worst thing that I've ever heard is that there's somehow still Empire remnants that aren't under Thrawn's control at that point.
Yeah, it's wild, dude,
and it baffles me to this day that they are making an entire movie about hunting down Empire remnants, which is ridiculous because the Empire has been defeated since the fucking 80s or the 90s or like.
Well, they're screwing up their time. They're screwing up their timeline right now. They're screwing up their timeline right now. They kind of paint themselves. Oh, I forgot the saying, but they kind of back themselves in the corner or whatever because Mandalorian and Grogu was supposed to be at the point where we are now. We're supposed to be 6 or 7 years post Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So at the time, if you take into account the events of Rebels, Thrawn is supposed to still be off in the other universe. You know what I mean? And so, like you said, it is supposed to only be the underworld elements of like the remaining moths that are left of the Empire. But they became in the old legacy stories of the old EU, they all became underworld. Gangsters.
Yeah, they all became like gangs and stuff like that.
They were Crimson Dawn. They were part of the
Which is
cartel.
crazy because they exist. The Crimson Dawn exist in this time, like in this part of the story.
I know.
So right now, I feel like Disney and Filoni and them, they're not paying attention to their own continuity as far as
that. Well, the thing is, they wanted again the fake fanism. They wanted the fake like, oh, look at this, it's the Empire. Look at this, it's stormtroopers. Look at this, it's a lightsaber. Look at this, yeah.
Well, let me interrupt you really quick.
Look, guys, it's Darth Vader.
No, yeah, exactly. Let me interrupt you real quick, Lucas, because to add to that, what we were saying about Scream.
Oh, yeah.
The director decided that Stu was supposed to be alive. And so he decided not to bring Stu back because the people didn't get it. And it's just like, dude, they don't need to get it. We get it. We're the real fans. To have someone say he's not alive, but then he's actually alive is fucking mind-blowing, right? That Stu may be the puppet master. Yeah, that he may be the puppet master that we said. And no, we were going to bring him back, but we decided not to. Was stupid. I mean, that could have blew up the movie way more than it was, and no one cares now. And now no one's excited for Part 8 coming out.
Not watching Part 8.
I'm physically ill.
Why does it always come back to Scream for Halloween? Like I don't
because this is going to segue into the next one. So now we have also, even though it was late in the game, we should have talked about this earlier, but we have Mortal Kombat 2. We have Street Fighter coming out, right? We also, so it's one of those things that Mortal Kombat 2, I haven't watched it just yet, but from what I'm hearing from the fans and stuff, they do a lot of pandering for the video game. But they still are not sticking to the source material. And it's just like, people are like, what the hell is going on? Like, a lot of people say that 2 is better than 1, right? But at the same time, though, they're like, this is not what we wanted. Like, yeah, it's cool to see some of like the acid pit stage, the NetherRealm stage and all the stuff.
They added that stuff so that people can look at the screen and go, ooh, that was in the game.
Exactly. And that's to your point.
Yeah, there's so much. Like the fatalities, like there's even one scene where I don't know if it's a spoiler, but
is it the Johnny Cage wobble? It's so stupid. That is so fucking ridiculous.
Doing it like that, just like the game. Like there's certain things that you can have on the game and it'll be fine. Like Katana doing the fan and like doing the whole thing that, you know, it was just like the game in 11, all right? The story itself,
Trash.
weak.
They need to give up on making
weak.
anybody but Liu Kang the main character. He is the main character of the games. He's the main character of the story. This is the whole point. He is the chosen one.
And the only other chosen one was Johnny Cage, because remember, he comes from a long line of people that were chosen for Shao Kahn. You know what I mean? He was the only not Shao Kahn, excuse me, Shinnok. He was the only one to defeat Shinnok. What up, Ian? What's going on? Better late than never. But it's true, man. It's one of those that his family lineage was the only one to defeat Shinnok, and this is where Liu Kang failed. Yeah. Because then you realize there's more than one chosen one, which is great. You know, it was a great part of the storyline.
It makes sense for Mortal Kombat too, since so many people can win the tournament in the tournament ladders and stuff like that. It makes sense for the story, and they did it in a natural way.
Guys, just go play the game. Seriously, play the games.
But so even so, this is why I worry about Street Fighter. I worry about Street Fighter because, you know, as cool as some of the people look, like, you know, you got Cody Rhodes with the damn guile hair, which is awesome, right? And all this other jazz.
Oh, he looks so amazing.
He does.
Gorgeous.
That really such a wig.
Momoa as Baraka.
Oh my God, yeah, Momoa, but also Momoa as Blanca. I don't know how I feel about that.
No, I don't like the fully CGI Blanca.
Roman Reigns.
What are we doing?
It's Jason Momoa.
I thought Roman Reigns was Blanca.
Roman Reigns. What are we doing?
Oh wait,
I think Roman Reigns is
Roman Reigns.
No.
No way.
Yeah, it's the OTC.
No. Roman Reigns is Akuma. No.
Akuma,
yes, Roman Reigns is Akuma.
Oh, that makes
sense. And then who's 50 Cent?
50 Cent's Balrog.
Okay.
50 Cent's Balrog. You know, so I'm scared,
as you should be. That's amazing.
I'm scared of this movie because, you know, obviously the Van Damme one was god awful,
but
it was god awful. But, you know, this one seems like they have the source material of the characters, but here's the problem is the story, right? And this is the whole point of even with He-Man that we're worried about. We're worried about He-Man because we're worried about the story. The characters look great, but same thing with Mortal Kombat. The characters look great.
I'm not sure about Bison.
Yeah, as much as I love the actor they chose, he's the wrong guy.
I think he could really pull it off if they did
if he did be smaller to
he's supposed to be huge, man. Like he's supposed to be physically and vocally imposing.
As someone who's also not a big fan of Street Fighter, they kind of dropped the ball. Again, love the actor. He's a phenomenal actor. Late Night with the Devil.
Hey!
That's an amazing. That was amazing. It's a great movie. He did amazing. That he's also great in Ant-Man. He's not the guy for this. He's not the guy to play Bison, the M Bison.
My nose
the only person I could agree with is a perfect casting, but he should have shaved his mustache. Is fucking Dan Hibiki, dude. Andrew Schultz as Dan Hibiki.
I really hope he gets bitched around so hard. I
think that he's gonna be the butt of a joke, and that's the
I definitely feel like Street Fighter is gonna be like a campy comedy, just the simple fact that Eric and Andre's in it. Like I don't see him being in something that's gonna be like real serious.
All right, Ian, what you got?
I don't know. I think I beg to differ. I think it's gonna shock us. I think nobody's addressed Sagat yet. I think that's gonna be the biggest.
He's perfect casting. He's perfect.
Yeah,
casting
sure.
For Sagat.
Yeah.
I think Sagat's gonna be like whoever it is. It's gonna be like.
Oh no! I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Dazzler, man.
No, you think it's
Yeah. I don't know. I just think like the movie's gonna. I think people are not gonna go for it mostly for this. Like I know, like the nerdy fans are gonna go for the story. I think more people are gonna go for more of the nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my biggest thing. I think it's like everybody's played those characters. Everybody knows those moves. Right? Exactly. We want to see those moves in action. I think that's the biggest thing.
Of course.
But I think that's what I hate, though. I hate nostalgia bait. I hate the
nostalgia bait is a real thing.
That was within the game. I hate that because they can do it and make a good story.
Like No Way Home.
It's not impossible.
But, you're right. You're right.
I think if they followed the lore,
about for a bit.
Yeah, but if they followed the lore, they should have did Street Fighter Alpha first. They should have did Street Fighter Alpha. when Ryu has the white headband, right? Because that's how he gives it to Sakura before he gets the red headband and all this other jazz, right? Like Street Fighter Alpha is the beginning of this entire lore. That's how Sagat got the scar from Ryu doing the Shoryuken to him, right? Like if you did
they might
follow
do
the lore,
flashbacks. I have a feeling they'll probably do like origin
I
story.
hope, dude. I hope, but I just hope it's a better story than Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat derailed it really, really bad. This is again, this is what we're worried about. He-Man.
They messed up so bad with the first one.
Yeah, they put in
I
their
really
own
hope that
fucking
it's not like
character.
DOA.
I
Should
hope not
anyone never
either.
seen DOA?
Oh my God.
I didn't watch DOA, but like, like
Even
a lot of people
Tekken,
thought it
the
was
Tekken
horrible.
movie was trash, bro.
Yeah.
The Tekken movie was absolutely trash. And again, the characters look great, but it was trash. And so even this Resident Evil movie that's coming out, like we mentioned many, many times on the podcast, you know what I mean? The Resident Evil movie, even though the director is a big fan of the games, he was like, "Oh, I just wanted to do a story like if one of us got sucked into the game." That's not what people want to see.
Well,
I play as myself in Resident Evil. Leon motherfucking Kennedy.
And this is the counterpoint that I've kind of pushed here, is that it still could be a good original story. We haven't seen it yet.
1 and 2.
But at the same time, everybody wants the story of the games. I want the story of the games. I think with Noah, it works better as a series. It just makes more sense.
Yes.
Just because there's so much in those games that you cannot compile.
Doing just one run is 30 hours. Like it's a 30-hour gameplay as one character.
When it comes to stuff like this, when it's not attached necessarily to a game, like I guess it's basically attached to Resident Evil 1 and 2 by name only, because I guarantee we're not going to see shit.
Yeah, this is in between them.
We're not going to. We're going to see a zombie. We might see a zombie or two. That's it. Like I doubt we're gonna hear anything about the events of Resident Evil 1 or 2. I hope we hear about the events, because that would help it work in a little bit of continuity. But it still has the potential of being a good original story. I don't think we should knock original immediately off the bat, because sometimes they can surprise us. I think there was technically the entirety of the first Avengers movie was an original story.
I wouldn't say that's the same thing, though.
It's much the same. It's you have the character and adapted from the comics, yes, but it's pretty much original.
Again, but this is a completely original story. You don't have any of the characters in the game that are going to be in the movie, and this then branches and breeds the ability to make more spin-off movies that are going to be shit and have nothing to do with it. You can again. You
Marcus,
can have your own original ideas, but if you take the Resident Evil title off of this movie, it's not Resident Evil. You would not be able to know. If you took
in the sewer.
If you took somebody to go see this movie and you're like, what is this movie? It's like, I don't know, some kind of mutant movie. Nobody would be able to tell that this is a Resident Evil movie. Because
honestly, Noah, to your point, I really thought it was a Left 4 Dead movie when I first saw the trailer.
Thank you. Yes, because it's the fucking boomer in the sewer.
Yeah,
that's a boomer.
I really thought it was a Left 4 Dead movie, and I was like, "Holy shit, we're gonna get a Left 4 Dead movie!" And then
I would love that. I would love that. They would never play Left 4 Dead that straight. They would never play Left 4 Dead that straight. It's going to be an action comedy. If they ever did a Left 4 Dead movie, that would be the end of the world, because Valve will have exploded.
All right, Marcus, go ahead.
With this Resident Evil movie, they're jumping ahead with the virus, because like the mutated zombies didn't come along until after 5 technically, because you can't count.
Was it 6? Was it 6 or 7?
It was like 6.
It was 6 or 7. The one with Leon was in the town.
Yeah. Well, no,
the one in the town was 4.
4, yeah.
No, that was,
that's 4.
That's the village. That's the village.
They just
They're not mutated.
They're
not Are you talking about Village?
No,
the village is not.
5. He's talking about 5 with the when they were in Africa
with Chris.
Yes.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, but that they
weren't
5 or
mutated
6 though. That was something else. It was 6 or 7 when they started becoming mutated. So T-virus
because of the bacteria.
Bacteria mold.
I don't know if he's like trying to adapt the T-virus with when they made Mr. X, and like this is like a spin on that version of the virus.
Oh God. Please
But
no.
I'm just not.
Like there were a couple of mutant bosses and like the feral zombies and whatnot in like Resi 1 had like the feral zombies that came back or whatever,
Yeah,
you stomp
but
on their heads or whatever.
if you really
But, like,
want the true mutant was Nemesis. Nemesis was the first true mutated zombie creation. And so, but this is my problem with all these things, man, is that, so I guess my next question for all of you, and we'll go one by one, is that should we, from comic books, from cartoons like He-Man, and also not only comic books, but just whether it's anime or any of these other things, should it only be TV series because of so much, and video games because it's so much lore? Since there's so much lore to build upon, should it just be TV shows?
Absolutely. You can do special event movies in the theaters. I think you should do TV series and then special event movies in the theaters. Or if you really wanted to do it, if you really want it to be a theater thing, but you want it to be a series, then do monthly episodes. I know that's like, it sounds a bit odd, but if you do monthly 50-minute episodes in the theater, I think that gets you a drive into theaters, and then you have the opportunity to really take your time with each episode and get your money for it. You could even probably do like two a month.
Closer to comic book releases too.
Yeah. I mean, like, and if we're talking about video games specifically, like, you can probably get a Resi show on Netflix, but like, if you got to do it the right way, right? Like, because like again, that's a 70-hour game.
There's a Claire's
already good and Leon's story going at like
content and whatnot.
Yeah, this is what I hate about The Last of Us. The Last of Us, like I told you, the whole game is about the zombies, and the show was all about the humans. And it's just like,
like you get the human lore throughout the game, but again, the game is like 30 to 70 hours for full exploration. Yeah. Like you're getting so much like
POV, you're in The Last of Us and you can't find a zombie.
The Last of Us, literally the whole, like, you are terrified of the zombies throughout that game.
Yeah.
The first game should have been 2 to 3 seasons, even.
Absolutely.
Like, 2 seasons, definitely 3 seasons, maybe, because that also gives you the opportunity for your lead actress playing fucking Ellie to age up.
Yes.
Yeah.
For the coming of the second game.
Yes.
Instead, you get someone who looks like they're my age, playing a child, and then when the second season comes out, they now look like my age, portraying someone my age. So it's like it's like when you watch High School Musical and you see Zac Efron, and you get like you feel like.
But he's right, though. He's right.
He's looking at me off camera, by the way. He's looking at me off camera for validation.
You see, oh my God, for Spider-Man, right? Like, you fucking have, you have Tobey Maguire, who, I mean, he doesn't look terrible, right? Like, he still looks kind of like a passing young adult teenager, but fucking Flash, like, he had a 5 o'clock shadow. Now, granted, I knew someone in 6th grade with a full beard, but that's a one-off, right? He was an adult. That man had a 401k in the background. Like,
the guy had a Rolex on, dude. He was already making investments.
Again, you want to talk about Twilight? Every single person was like, "Oh, well, we looked at." No, you don't. You look like adults. You look like predators. Like you are fully established. Like, you have muscles and all, like, you got the beard and shit. Like, you are not children. You are not children. You're not teenagers. Hire teenagers to do teenage work, but be fair about it. Don't mistreat them.
Exactly. Melissa, do you think TV series or movies should be like video games, comics, should they be adapted into shows only or movies?
I get with you guys. Like, I feel like some can go straight as shows, but if you're going to have your own adaptation, make it a movie so it's a one-off. And then if it's good, you can have more after that. But, like, so much content goes into these games. It's like, how are you going to go watch everything within an hour and a half and fit every character in? I feel like that's why a lot of movies bombed. Like, I feel like that's why Borderlands didn't turn out as well as it should have. I feel like Resident Evil. Look, the first Resident Evil, we didn't even know any of the characters. We knew Mila Jovovich. Sorry, I said her name wrong. But, like, you went into that thinking you were going to see something from the game, and it was totally different. And then the movie ended up making, 7 of them?
Yep.
You love the zombie Doberman.
Like, he was the star. He was the star. All right, him and the toilet paper that made him look like a zombie.
Oh, and the
futuristic AI system or something.
And the liquor. Like
Yeah,
you
we had
had
the
the creatures. You had the creatures. You didn't have to worry about the main people. You know, that's how you got a story that kept going. And it's not that the movies like sucked or anything. It was just a lot of us. Like she lost her powers, then she gets them back again. Then it's the desert. Then it's just like the game. Then it's not like the game. And then you're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, those movies got those movies got
Yeah, they got crazy. Dude.
I've only seen
The best one, like even for that, like the best ending was when you saw all of them on what is the White House, and you were expecting them all to be in the next game or the next movie, and then they all like died within the first like 10 minutes of the movie or something, and none of them were really in it except for her. And you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Well, they're not
Marcus.
I feel like what Melissa was saying, if there's multiple characters, you know, if it's an ensemble cast of characters, then yes, a series. So they can all get their chance to, you know, breathe and get their moments of. But if it's like something that could be streamlined, for example, let's say if Disney decides to adapt Cal Kestis in live action, they could easily, even though there's several characters, those games are so streamlined and focused on Cal with just very few characters. Those could be movies. Now, those could be movies and be done extremely well if they adapted it and stuck to the source material of the game.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, because I mean, the games themselves with the cutscenes alone were like 2-hour movies anyway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like, yeah, I feel like if it's a streamlined story like that, it works in film. But 9 times out of 10, I would rather have a series, man. Like one of my favorite games that I read that they are, I don't know when it's going to happen. I think they said next year. They are working on adapting it into live action again, but it's going to be a series. Is Max Payne.
Nice.
You know,
oh wow.
And
But I like
going
that
to
as
be
a
gritty.
series.
Yeah, and it's going to be gritty. So
Because the Max Payne movie didn't do well.
Yeah, the movie was, even though it was a beautiful film, Mark Wahlberg was not it. Now I did love
I agree.
I did love what's her name? What's the girl? Mila Kunis. I did love her as the sister, the assassin. I can't think of the character's name right now. She was great, but she was the only good thing about the movie, and the cinematography was.
I would agree. Even Uncharted, the movie was absolute fucking trash.
Trash, dude.
Oh my
why
gosh.
would you hire as much as I like Tom Holland as an actor, he was no Nathan Drake, man.
No,
I'm sorry, Nathan Fillion much?
Nathan Fillion should have been
Drake.
Yep.
Because did you see the short film?
The short film was awesome. I love that.
Yeah, the short film on YouTube was great, and you had Stephen Lang as Sully. It was great. It was great, man, and that's what they should have done. They should have just adapted that into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If they were, I feel like they were trying to go with the franchise pull for that Uncharted movie.
Yeah.
But I feel like they were trying to go for like the Uncharted pull or like the franchise pull with that first Uncharted movie, but it just nah.
Tom was good for young Nathan, like flashback scenes, but like what was it, Uncharted 3, where you had the flashback scenes when he was a kid.
If they weren't gonna do a fucking sequel, they should have just gone the Uncharted 4 route and just done like a story that flashes back to like moments of like the other games and stuff like that, which they could do. Yeah. It's not impossible, guys.
Exactly. Ian, what do you got?
I agree. I think it should, this is my thing. I don't like money grabs. I hate when they put like just like Tom Holland, right? Like I love Tom Holland. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but was he it for that movie? No. You know what I'm saying? Stop putting these like high-paid actors that are not knowing what the roles are. Just get some Joe Schmo. Like that's I mean, they literally just pulled Tom Holland, you know what I'm saying? And he nailed that role for Spider-Man. So there's other actors out there that can, you know what I mean, that can do a better job. Nathan Fillion, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. I just feel like it's just like a money grab. If you're gonna do a movie, do a movie correctly and do it for the fan service. If you're gonna do a show, do the show the same way. But make sure it's not a money grab. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have, we're going to put Sonya Blade in the movie. It's got to be Charlize Theron. No, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
That's my main thing. That's, I think, what kills us is we're like, oh, we think this person could do it, but then we're like, yeah, it should have just been a show. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, you know what? I'm glad you brought that point up, man, because, you know, Pedro Pascal's and everything. I like him as an actor. A little weird dude, you know what I mean, outside of things, but he's in everything, bro. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, Pedro Pascal's in it, and it's just like, dude, who cares? You know, and it's
like
he
did a good job in The Last of Us, but I would have picked my man from Game of Thrones. What's his name?
Which one?
Lannister, Jamie Lannister. That's who I would.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
He would have been. He looks like the character.
Oh.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. And you know what? You know what? I think that I'm gonna split it like Marcus. I have to agree with that, and also you, Ian, is that one, if it's a streamline game that is very short, that you can cut out the BS, excess BS, and it's a streamlined story like The Force Unleashed with Sam Witwer, who should be, you know, Star Killer. That would be awesome. The Force Unleashed 1 and 2 as a movie, fantastic. I can see it going very well, right? Because I mean, Mandalorian and Grogu was like 2.5 hour movie. You have a 2.5 hour movie of Force Unleashed, right? It'd be great. But for super lore oriented, you know, like even though He-Man, you know, has his lore with the cartoons and whatnot, you know, I feel like He-Man would have been a better show. But as long as you do it properly, as Noah said earlier, you know, and to our point is that when you have people that are actually fans of the damn thing, because I mean, look at Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was almost verbatim like the cartoon, but it didn't do as well. Even the original creators were like, "We're out," right? Because the producers kept coming in and ruining stuff.
Yeah, telling them.
Right? Yeah. So it's kind of one of those like, "Hey, man,
Look at the Witcher.
we hire fans."
I will never get over them completely cutting out one of the most important like messages for young males, which was with like the target audience of that show at the time was young male boys, and they cut out one of the most important messages. Was Sokka, you know, he grew up in this village where he was the only pretty much like dude and warrior that was like able to fight and shit. Everybody else was either kids or old ladies and mothers and daughters and stuff like that, and he had to be the protector. So he got very sexist, and he got very like, I'm a man, I need to be the man, I need to always be the man in control and protecting the situation. And then when they get to
Kyoshi
Island, beautiful arc of him learning to accept that women can like actually be protective of them, like protecting themselves, and can actually do things rather than just being have to wait for him and wait for him to protect him. Like, and he learns that very fast with Suki, and they end up building a beautiful relationship because of it. And it's one of those really strong messages very early on in the story. That's
advanced by a lot of women in that season, in that show.
It just
So
yeah,
I got
and
something.
you know what? I would add to that is that Sokka, if you really look at it, Sokka was a reflection of Aang. Sokka learned all the elements, but of people that didn't have airbending styles, right? He learned from the Kyoshi warriors. He learned from the guy from the Fire Nation, from the sword, right? He learned from the Water tribe. So, but that is a pivotal moment, like you said, because for him, he became a better man and a better protector when he was humbled himself to learn from women, right?
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't this, like how they're trying to push now, women warriors, women are the best. They're not. No, it was just,
it was one of the best showcases of like genuine feminism I've seen. And it's like it's so crazy that it was so early on in the series, and like this was not like an adult-centered show. It was on Nickelodeon.
I'll be damned if I don't cry at one.
But it was beautifully written, and that's like one of those things that like they let the creators write a gorgeous show. Like they let them write a really meaningful, all-encompassing show that tells a lot of lessons, that teaches a lot of different themes and meanings, and helps these young kids find out, how to go about certain situations, possibly, figuring out for themselves and learning and whatnot. It's
absolutely
it was gorgeous.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah, go for it.
I got a question for y'all.
Go for it.
I know we're talking about video games too, but we're also talking about comic books being adapted from the source material.
Yep.
For each of you all, what would you say is the best comic book film that took an original approach? They didn't adapt the source material, but still turned out to be really good films. I got two.
You talking about like comic book or just anything?
Comic book or video game.
I'm gonna right off the back. I'm gonna say Sonic. I say Sonic the Hedgehog nailed it. 100%. All three of the movies were fire.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that it wasn't a story, but they created their own story, and it was good.
No, I'm in agreement with you.
Yeah, I say Sonic was up there.
What about you?
I got one. The Crow. The Crow was fantastic. The comic book came out first. The comic book came out first, and then the movie came out when Brandon Lee's interpretation of everything was absolutely fantastic of the Crow.
I have one when I say
obviously they butchered the Crow after, right? But I feel like the Crow was
the first one's the only real
an original.
Okay. I got three for y'all after Melissa and knowing. What do you all have?
I'm thinking Scott Pilgrim.
Oh yes.
Well,
one of the best.
Here's the thing, though.
Agree
it
with
is
you.
Super
100%.
unfortunate. It is super unfortunate that does not count because it is heavily adapted from the comic book.
Is it?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. There was a lot of changes between Scott Pilgrim.
That's fair, but it still follows the beats of the comic book pretty much.
It does, but it's not. They took out a lot of stuff that I personally felt, and this is just me. I personally felt that the movie did certain things better, but the manga did certain things way better than the actual movie. Yeah. But when we're talking about an adaptation that is comic book sourced, but also with his original spin, I would agree with Noah on that. It was great. I have to agree on that.
What about you, Melissa? Oh,
we're talking about trilogy, by the way.
Go ahead, Noah.
I was gonna say, I'm just gonna say, there's if that's the exact definition we're going based off of, then you have to hold a candle to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, right? Yes. Because it is his
Spider-Man 2 in particular.
Yes, Spider-Man 2 is still one of the best comic book movies.
To adapt the comic book line so well and so originally that it feels like it's the first time you've ever seen it.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
I'm in the minority.
That movie is a paramount.
The way I feel about Spider-Man 2 is how I feel about The Dark
Knight.
I'll say it.
I can also agree with that. I can also agree with The Dark Knight.
I'll say it after Melissa. No, I'm not saying that they were good films. I'll say it after Melissa. I'll say Mario.
Wait, you don't like Spider-Man 2?
No. I don't like Raimi Spider-Man movies.
I need a drink after that.
No. Well, I'll put it like
You're in timeout, motherfucker.
I love the
villains. Your ass in jail, Marcus.
I don't like Tobey Maguire, but I love the villains.
Fair enough. But come on, man.
Honestly, the worst Spider-Man is not. I'm sorry, not Andrew Garfield. He's my favorite. In my opinion, the worst one is not Tobey Maguire. It's Tom Holland all day, but that's a different discussion.
Thank you. Yes,
Tom Holland just has a longer origin.
Nope. I will make my argument in 2 seconds for what Noah's saying, but yes, I agree with you, Noah. All right, Melissa, what do you think?
So I've never read the actual novel that it's based off of, but I've always loved Perfect Blue, the anime.
Yes, Perfect Blue is great.
I think that was just really groundbreaking for the time, and if it's just like the novel, it's fantastic. Another one that I didn't read the comic, but I love the movie was the director's cut of Constantine.
Yes.
Constantine,
Keanu Reeves original. That's an original story. It's nothing like the comic.
Yeah,
that was
Constantine?
Amazing. And I will add this. I will piggyback off you, Melissa. I will say Lucifer the show was nothing like the comics, and it was fantastic.
I love that show.
Until they got to season 5 and 6, that was god awful. They
should have ended it that's also. I think that was also around the writer's strike and all that shit was happening.
Actually,
they got kicked off of FX, and then Netflix picked them up. So I know that there was problems with the story writing then.
Well, hold on. But let's add to this. So season 4, when Netflix picked them up, and it was supposed to be the final season, and they ended it beautifully. It's the first time Lucifer says "I love you" to her, and then at the end he said, "But I am the devil and I can't be with you," and he had to do his job, so he returned to hell on the throne, which it ended that whole story arc beautifully.
Gorgeous.
And then Netflix was like, "Oh, we made a lot of money off of this. Let's continue." That was bullshit. That was bullshit.
I get the whole art. It was the Gabriel thing was so fucking stupid.
The coolest thing about that whole Lucifer ending too is that was like one of the very few things that they did from the comics, and of like him returning to hell because he has a duty that he finally accepts.
Yes.
And it's really powerful. That whole episode that felt like the finale of
Yeah.
It should have been a tragic ending.
I do like the All-State Man of God.
It's the first time he accepted. It is the first time he accepted being who he was.
Are you in good hands?
Of course, you're
Before
gone.
I give you all my list, this is what I was gonna say about Spider-Man 2 and the Dark Knight.
Oh boy!
Even though they were good.
Wait! I got the jail button ready.
Hold on. So look. Personally, when it comes to Nolan's trilogy, Batman Begins is my favorite of the three because it's a complete film. It's a complete film.
I agree.
It's more indie. To me, the Dark Knight dragged when Ledger wasn't on the screen.
Facts.
Fair.
The movie dragged, and that's how I felt about Spider-Man 2. When Alfred Molina was not on screen, Spider-Man 2 dragged for me.
I would argue with that.
Boring. It was just a boring. The only thing that I found interesting in Spider-Man 2 with Tobey was when he was dealing with that mental conflict, that mental block. Those scenes were great. Everything else, it was just like, all right, when we get,
I can't agree. I can't.
The best hero scene of all time is the train ride.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I was about to say, one of the best comic book battles of all time. Like,
but isn't like the whole movie like him fighting Spider-Man, Doc Ock doing his own thing, and then like the whole mental that's the whole movie of Spider-Man 2. It was like Tobey's mental turmoil. Spider-Man fighting Doc Ock and then Doc Ock.
And it's a comic book storyline of when he throws away, and it was shot for shot of when he throws away the Spider-Man.
Dealing with Mary Jane
but it was almost wholly original.
I can definitely agree for The Dark Knight. I unfortunately cannot agree for Spider-Man 2. I think that it's such a beautiful story. Again, I don't like Kirsten Dunst as MJ, and I'm like, so any scene that she's in, I'm just like, get her off the screen.
But the three movies I got for you,
that's true.
You all have seen them. But some of the three best adaptations that did not adapt the source material. V for Vendetta.
Yes.
Is one.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Okay.
V for Vendetta. The Losers. If you ever seen The Losers.
Oh yes, with Chris Evans and all. Yes, I have seen that.
With Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Idris Elba and Zoe Saldana. Chris Evans was in it. You know, that movie was fucking great. I wish we got a sequel. And then From Hell with Johnny Depp.
From what?
Nice.
From Hell with Johnny Depp.
That was good.
Okay. Johnny Depp.
With Jack the Ripper story.
I mean,
the best adaptations that did its own thing, but still was like beautiful films, well done. So I feel like if people want to do something original like that, take that serious tone, you know, make it yours, but still make it something that people who grew up loving the comic make them, you know, connect to it. You know what I mean?
Are we talking about movies or shows?
All of them.
I was just saying in general.
We're doing
like,
comics.
You know,
we're doing comics.
All right, I'm gonna catch heat for this, but I was a big fan of this. I'm sorry, but Riverdale was fire.
First few seasons was fire.
First season, first season. Yeah, after all that, first two seasons though.
Seasons 2, like seasons 1 and 2, I can agree that it had a very interesting story, but they made it just way too much into like a PG soft porn. It's like you have story that you can tell, but you're making it all about kinks, and I just like they're in high school.
My hair doesn't agree with that.
So I'll give you. Listen, I will give you.
Sabrina wasn't bad.
Sabrina wasn't bad either. That's what I said. Yeah.
No, Sabrina was based on the comics.
Yeah.
I feel personally the best adaptation right now for comics, and even though this is a cheap move by me, I still say the best adaptation for comics and source material is X-Men '97. right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
X-Men 97.
Bro,
I agree.
It's
season
its
2 trailer.
It's its own original story, but it still
Yeah.
pays homage not only to the 97 cartoon, but to the comics. We got a lot of comic book moments
And even
in it, but
further
it's its own
to that,
original story.
yeah, even further to that, the whole X-Men show as a whole, like they had like the major comic influences, but a lot of those stories were original, like original dialogue, original writing situations and stuff like that.
Here's what I'll say about that, though. I love the 90s Spider-Man movie, the show from the 94. I wish they would continue that like they're doing with X-Men 97. I've heard,
Bring it back.
I'll believe it when I see it.
No, it's confirmed. They're writing it now. Yeah, it's confirmed. They're doing the X-Men 97 approach to it.
I forced myself to go back and rewatch both of those shows before watching the first season of X-Men 97. A lot of
episodes.
The first X-Men, like the X-Men 90 show, it's got some good moments. It does not hold up, I don't think. It definitely drags. I definitely think Spider-Man still holds up. I think but Spider-Man's just like
come on, guys. You don't like hearing
suck an egg.
Spectacular Spider-Man was the best animated adaptation for me.
Which is adapted from the Raimi movies. Just saying.
Yeah. but again, like I'm glad that we all can agree, man. It is that, like I said, now to piggyback off it as we're gonna wrap up, is that, you know, He-Man, I hope they stick to the source material as much as they can. With, you know, obviously if they have their own original story, cool, man. Just, you know, it looks like it has a lot of cool elements to the original. Hopefully it's not a cash grab like, you know, Mortal Kombat was and Tekken and all these other, you know, movies were. And, you know, so we're hoping for big success on that. I mean, like I said, even Spider-Man Noir, you know, we mentioned it, Spider-Man Noir.
I liked it.
As an original.
I'm watching it tonight.
One last one
Very
of the
Dick
original
Tracy.
comic book adaptations. The first Hellboy movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that in the car.
The first Hellboy movie is fantastic.
It's not terrible, but it's not great.
Listen,
it's okay.
And I will give you one that I may get heat for. I may get heat for this. I love the Thomas Jane Punisher.
Yeah,
okay.
I love the Thomas Jane Punisher.
100%.
Especially the short film that came after. Dirty Laundry on YouTube.
Guys,
holy shit, that was
I might get to this. I like Green Lantern.
Yeah.
No one liked that film.
That CGI suit
killed any chance of us ever having Ryan Reynolds on the show.
It's on the show.
All right. So next week, so obviously people have been asking for it. We're gonna do it because I want to pause on the DC stuff while we get further into it. So next week we are gonna do Twilight. We are gonna do the whole Twilight thing going on next week. I know Noah and Lucas have been dying for it. So we'll get into Twilight and see if we should revamp Twilight or, you know, just do away with it. We'll talk about it. So
I can't wait to last things you guys
want to say?
We're going to rank every male vampire by their hotness on a scale
by their sparkliness.
On a scale of Sparkle Queen to
Twilight.
Not.
No,
we're not doing
that. Interview with a vampire in there, sure.
I love that movie.
I'm gonna have to get body glitter for next week then.
All righty, guys. So don't forget, please like, subscribe, tell your mom, everybody. You know what I mean? So we can continue the show. Well, also don't forget to scan the QR code right here. Stream the Player's Cut, the board game that we're getting. Also, please. These guys are at HorrorCon. They're promoting. They've been working very hard at this. It's great to, you know, partner with the video game. What is it, guys? The board game.
Stream the Player's Cut.
No, the actual people that you guys partnered with, Marcus.
Oh, Red Dead Games.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. And also with the Plus on the Lens guys. So
sorry, Mike and all the other mics.
Mike and Tom.
All the mics on the team.
Mike and Tom.
So please, guys, scan the QR code. Please support us, and we will see you guys next time.
Guys, remember, we got to all wear body glitter next Friday now because we're doing Twilight.
No body glitter.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna bust out.
Killer Bella.
I think I'm gonna bust out
ever colored shirt by then.
I think I'm actually just gonna wear a Twilight vampire.
Again, we need Blade in the Twilight movies.
We need the black guy.
That'd be awesome. He would destroy. He would mess him up.
The werewolves are trash.